Hey everybody, welcome back, and here's my review of the Polish Tech Tree tanks, starting off with the Tier 4 light tank, the 14TP. Now, the theme for the Polish tanks at low tiers is, that they're mobile, low armoured tanks with high alpha guns. And, yeah, two of those are true. They are mobile, and it's not an ugly tank. The tier 1 to 3 tanks are hideous, but this thing isn't bad. So yeah, it's mobile, and yes, it has no armour. But high alpha, that's a bit of a porkies. Even the top package gun, the 47mm, it's got 75 alpha, which is okay. But there are many light tanks out there which can beat it into the floor. Especially as, what's the point of having alpha if you can't hit a target or penetrate it? And the 0.38 accuracy on the top gun package on this, it feels like a 0.4. Weirdly, I find the accuracy on the 47mm to be worse than the accuracy on the Bofors, the 40mm autoloading Bofors, which in my opinion is by far the best gun. The top package gun does work if you load with premium. Then you've got a faster round, which is pretty much guaranteed to pen most of your targets. And that does make a huge difference. Now, I tended to overextend in this tank. I kept forgetting that it is a very fragile light tank. Really fragile. And there are a lot of tanks out there which hit harder than it does, have more health and more armour. And especially when playing with the top package gun. I try playing it like a Chinese medium tank. So very much the hit and run style. You sneak around a little bit, whack somebody in the side for what in your head is meant to be a high alpha. But of course it's a tier 4 tank with mediocre alpha. And what happens is you hit somebody, they go, "Oh, I just took 75 damage." They look around and then they disintegrate you. Now, I was going to include some game footage of me playing with the top package, but I really couldn't be asked. Yeah, it's been a pretty hell week, and I'm trying to get my head around this new editing software. So I figured, well, I'll just do the one actual gameplay video, and then I can upload more later if I want to. So yeah, this game. I'm top tier and I'm running the 40mm Bofors, and as you can see, the lack of gun depression, it's really bad. 8 degrees is what it's meant to have, but it just doesn't seem like it. You should be able to hug a ridge relatively well with that amount of gun depression, but you just can't. Even on flat terrain, if you're trying to do the standard light tank, circle and strafe an enemy, it just doesn't work. The slightest bump, the slightest dip, and you just can't hit them. I love the sound of the Bofors. It's by far my favourite low tier autoloader. It's got less damage and less pen than the higher package gun, but yeah, that rate of fire and that quite good clip reload speed really does make it very dangerous. Now, as with all of my reviews, I started off this tank fully stock, not using any premiums, consumables, and with a brand new crew. I did have a lot more footage built up for this review, especially on my PlayStation account, but I figured as we've had the major update recently, that it'd make more sense to do my review footage using gameplay from what's taken since the update. That means I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to do a retrospective for each of my previous reviews to see what my opinion of those tanks are now since the new update. Well, how many times did I say new update then? Jesus. Okay. A big problem that these low armour, low health, literally high alpha tanks have at these low tiers are things like the Panzer IVs and Matildas. Those things are like monsters to a tank like this. I mean, you're never going to be able to destroy a Matilda loading salt. Yeah, I'm sorry, premium rounds. And, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of derp guns as well at these low tiers. Which is why I laugh at the high alpha bit of the spiel. You'll see some... You'll see some great examples in a second of the terrible gun depression. As you can see, the turret rotation isn't great, so it makes doing a circle and kill a little bit trickier. But frankly, I think it's the autoloader is by far the most fun package to play. I mean, this is really lazy gameplay by me. Usually I don't right button and then just drive around. I actually like to aim. I did find while playing this tank, with any of the packages actually, I wasn't able to break 1,000 damage. But I'm only an average player, and boom, and I die. I'm only an average player, and like I said, it was a brand new crew, no premiums. I expect a better player or somebody with an experienced crew should be able to break 1,000 damage relatively easily. But yeah, it plays a lot like the Chinese tanks. And I think that's one of the issues a lot of people had with this tank. It's just that gun depression, it really does ruin it. If it felt like 8 degrees, it'd make a huge difference. And I should have edited this clip a little bit better, really. Low tier tank reviews I always find quite tricky. But it's an okay tank. There are many, many better tanks than it at its tier, especially with light tanks. And it's got that big problem of encountering things like Panzer IVs and Matildas, and derp guns, and artillery, and small rocks. So, I've got my review for the Tier 5 tank, probably coming up on Tuesday or Wednesday. So, yeah, please subscribe and follow me. I want feedback, I want comments. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos now. And most importantly, though, take care, guys. It's been a pretty shitty year, and it's not over yet. So look after yourselves, and I'll see you all in game.